How's it going? What's going on, peeps? I'm not actually plugged in. Fun. Last stream of MSI. Why not make it a little special one? Ugh. There we go. There we go. How's it going, peeps? So today, we're going through all 4 games. No middle bit. Just straight through them all. No GOL, no natting. Conscious to know if my, Okay, there we go. There we go. Yeah, that works. So, okay, that works. My audio is actually picking up pretty nicely, which is even better. Just need to add for myself. Yeah, that's even better. Okay. So I've got on my phone, obviously, the chat. So if people do talk, hello, I can see you today. Ugh. Put you guys down there so you're in front of me. Let's get some music on. And personally speaking, really looking forward to this, actually. Don't know why. Dash like that. There we go. Put this on for you guys. I think that'll be pretty nice music. As I'm peaking my mic somehow. Don't know how I'm peaking it. Oh well. Yeah. Probably because I upped the level. That's probably a big reason why I'm peaking my mic. Yikes. Let me just hear that bit of audio. Should be a little quieter now. Because I lowered myself. There we go. Maybe I can make myself a little louder. There we go. Okay. Let's, Game 1, shall we? I think that's pretty good audio level. And away we go. Game 1. Best of 5. It appears GenG starting on the blue side, BLG on red, and this is where things get interesting. Yesterday, we looked at the series between T1 and BLG, and put that down there for now. Instantly, we saw the likes of a ban towards Callista, and the prio became this Senna. Now, immediately speaking, gonna see the prio on Senna again. As well as the fact that the response will probably be the Callista, but no, BLG pivoting to Lucian. Not something we saw yesterday from them. As for GenG, the draft's actually going really quick. Camille possibly coming in against the Tom, Kench, Cassante, but TF gets locked in for Bin. So, second ban phase, the mid laners pools are going to be attacked. You've got Ori as an option. Asol's been removed. There's actually quite a few big picks mid that are already gone. I think Azir is another pick that needs to be looked at more than anything, as it really is quite powerful. GenG side, they can kind of do the same in terms of targeting the pools. I mean, jungle, what is that? A Xin, Sedge. Sedge been removed. Kind of have to target out some of the others. I would say that as a whole, the options are quite minimalistic in terms of what can be picked up for your team. I will also do that for me. There we go. Xin, kind of powerful. Hui gets removed from Chovy. So that's a surprising one to me. Sedge is gone as well. Leads me to believe that we may see a ban towards, what, a pickup here of the Azir for Chovy over anything else. I think that's more in his wheelhouse of picks than other things. Oh, I just removed my stream. There we go. Xin gets picked up. Okay. Xin, the response is... What is there good in jungle? Lee? And then Azir. That's a Karthus, so they can actually go... Yeah, I was about to say, you go Karthus, you can go AD mid, and you've got Cassante top, so you've got a lot of potent damage here from this GenG side, and the threat is no longer really Chovy for the late game. It is this Karthus that is going into Canyon's hands, and that's not something you typically see as Canyon playing carries. And so the fact that he is here is pretty chill. Canyon does play carries all the time. What am I on about? But essentially, he's on the more so heavy carry picks. The I'm going to blow you up sort that has a lot of impact as the game goes on. And post level 6, the Karthus will very powerful. Now, the draft gets rounded out with a Nico for Knight. Yeah, it's a pick. Wouldn't say it's the most optimal. We kind of saw it get hard countered by T1 yesterday, but it did win a game. In fact, it won the final game in the best of 5. But yeah, it's a hit or miss sort of comp that has been drafted by BLG. But as a whole, GenG are coming in with a lot more of a stronger comp than what I expected from them. As I like how this time the coaches came round the front to do the high five. It's not something that I was expecting to see from them. And yeah, it does end up happening. I'm just ensuring my cursor's not being captured in this mode. It isn't. Good. So, wait, is this the whole reason I could see the client? Anyway, let's go. Game 1, onto the Rift we go. Oh, I'm excited for this one. I'm actually excited to talk about the strategies in this, because we haven't really seen a proper LCK LPL matchup until yesterday, where we covered T1 BLG. Today, GenG take on BLG. And BLG heavily prioed Bin's pool in playing through him as a top laner. The Camille games, the TF games, he performed exceptionally well. And he kind of counteracted what Zeus wanted to do by hard committing onto the carries. Bin heavily targeted owner. This game This TF needs to be bullying the Karthus and not allowing him ease of access in teamfights. Because if you don't know how Karthus works, I need to simplify this. Essentially, when he dies, he still has impact in teamfights because he can still use abilities. Now, he's starting Q, so the blue Skittles being dropped down, as that's actually a lane swap out from GenG quite late, as essentially TF was allowed access to the wave. I'm actually surprised we haven't seen, or we didn't see this earlier, but look at Bin pathing his way down here, spotted on this ward. So the fact is, GenG expected him to come down here. They were expecting to catch him out, but the fact that all the way down the river, this TF's pathing was known to Chovy, and he still burns his flash. So as a whole, that's kind of tells you the mindset that Chovy's coming into this game with. It's a, I don't want to get, well, I want to play aggressive and punish my laner, rather than a, I'm going to play safe and not die. Now, right now, it's a 3v1 under tower. Gold card comes through, but it gets buffered, but Bin's still able to pick up the kill. And this does intrigue me that twice now, Bin has shown up in a lane and ended up benefiting it. It makes zero sense to me why this has happened. And he's gonna, this TP gonna come through from the TK to soak up farm. He's got the Cassante down here now. Mid does a heavy trade, but it's like, the fact that A, Chovy gets his flash burnt made no sense. He saw the path from Bin from up there down to there. He did not need to flash. He could have been content with just losing a couple CS that he inevitably lost anyway. And sure, the wave state probably would have been frozen in front of him out of an awkward angle, but in the end, you would have lost, well, you've lost more in this state than you had then, even though the CS is virtually identical. Now, back on the bot side, the fact is, Bin walked down to this bot lane. Cassante should have realistically started to back up, as you just need to look at the CS difference. It's minimal, because neither top laner has been able to farm. And if we talk about that affects, how it affects his mid lane, that's a heavy trade into that Nico. Essentially, Cassante could have gave up more on the wave and not have been pincered under his tower. Realistically speaking, it's an outplay by BLG, but in the actuality of the effects, it was a misplay by GenG twice. Now, Cassante obviously died, so Bin's got control lane with the first blood kill. However, this is a bit damage put down back onto him. Bin will be able to clap back quite easily when the Cassante's trade pattern ends, as mid, Yone using the solar part, getting pulled back to himself. And this game's going to be quite weird to see a Yone in. We didn't really touch on runes or anything to start it off, but Dark Harvest, big spell on, or rune on this Karthus. Essentially, many Karthuses either pop the ulti on cooldown, kind of like an Ash Arrow, or they essentially utilize it to secure kills and stack up stacks. Because right now, Karthus is showing up to lanes, dropping the slows and trying to get pills down so that he can get early Dark Harvest stacks. Now, Dark Harvest is a spell. Essentially, the more stacks you get, the larger the burst of collecting that soul will do, as it only triggers at like 20% health, I think. It's something awkward like that. But it's really strong for those champions that want to be killing. Karthus is one of those champions. You already see the Dark Seal in his inventory. It leads you to believe he's going to look to fight. And look to kind of skirmish against anyone. Typically speaking, you don't go Dark Harvest unless you want to have a good item in lane, which is typically in the mid lane. You go Dark Harvest when you're already feeling yourself getting maybe an assist or a kill early. But in this game, Karthus just wants to fight. Now, we've kind of overlooked the map movements from either team, as BLG have been flip-flopping lanes alongside GenG, who have also been flip-flopping lanes. As bot side, Lucian Nami getting aggressive. They've got the kill. Flash forward, the ebb and flow secures it. Didn't really need to flash there on, but I guess he was kind of... well, K'Sante doesn't even have flash. He had no escape tools, so the E was just utilized, yeah. I think that's kind of a waste of a flash, because you realistically wanted the kill into the Lucian, who's got only 2 assists right now, which is the issue for them, as he really is lacking in the finance, and now on gets the item. So yeah, watch this. K'Sante goes forward, presses a W through, there's his dash. The bubble lands, and it's just... the second auto was on its way from the Lucian. Yeah, like if we just go back a couple of seconds and slow it down. Ebb and flow, but you already see it there. The auto didn't even land. The ebb and flow stole it. So, realistically speaking, that's a greedy support trying to steal kills. So, I'm not saying it's his fault for securing the kill, but it is his fault for not giving it when we could see the Lucian had it secured. So Elk missing out on some nice gold. It does mean that the Bandle Glass goes into the inventory of the Tsunami, building up presumably 2 Imperial Mandate to get the extra damage out for this Lucian. I mean, in this situation, looking at the build, it may be Static Shiv Lucian, though I would prefer Kraken Slayer to get the upfront damage. Because I don't remember which Elk preferences in terms of build. But as a whole, either or can do well in this situation. I think having the stronger wave clear has its benefits. Even though GenG have got more scrubbies, and you're kind of playing for the Drakes, having good wave push with Lucian does make it harder for the likes of this Yone and most of GenG to kind of farm, because they'll be stuck on the tower. And you look at the actual champions they've got, I think if you go for the Static Shiv and have constant wave push, you're basically playing a more CS orientated game of just denying it away from the opposition, forcing them to tank the wave. And I like that more for BLG in that regard. However, upfront damage to get through the likes of the Senna, to dodge away from the Yone and then be able to kill him when he goes forward with his ulti, I think that would be more beneficial to BLG, as the Skittle's going to be dodged out. And there you go, he's actually going to go Static Shiv, so he is looking to play the more CS orientated game as topside. All out goes the K'Sante. That's gonna be the Requiem. Dropped, and the Dawning Shadow almost secures the kill. Bin dodges out on that. And that's actually 2 big ultis gone from GenG. So, with Grubs up, I think BLG get these for free. No contest from GenG, due to the fact that the ulti timings weren't coming out at a good time for this GenG squad. And I'm also looking. It's looking like double static Shiv for BLG. The TF traditionally goes for it. Unless he's the one that goes static. Unless he goes Kraken. But to be honest, I'm intrigued to see how that wave stat goes. In favor of Delusion, we need to keep an eye on that CS as the game goes on. And the wave push that this static ship will secure as skills being tossed, as GenG trying to control a river with 50 seconds up until this Drake. Grubs are even, so GenG can kind of contest this dragon, realizing they're in an okay position. The ultis are coming back off cooldown. Requiem and Dawn Shadow closing in on being alive again. I think the Requiem's back up. Dawning Shadow is almost back up, so this Drake could be contested by GenG. I'm not expecting them to, as they do outscale pretty heavily this BLG lineup. But to be honest, essentially what we're waiting on for BLG is Soul. They're kind of wanting to play for that and have that power spike that can deal with the GenG spike when they hit level 16 on the likes of the Karthus mid. Just seeing a bit of damage thrown down by Elk as Yone, Soul Part, just gonna clear a wave and just keep away Knight from his lane. Now, we haven't really touched on Knight and the Yone, as first item's going to be completed for this Nico Proto Belt, secured to be able to get in, as Drake is started up by BLG. The counterplay is going to be a TP to the top side, and Chovy is hunting. Fate Seal going to cut off one escape route, but Bin is ghosting, and he is running for his life. This Yone, Soul Apart, going to be forced to go back to his original start place as Sejuani. It's not a Sej, it's a Senna. Hunting, tags up with the light as the Requiem's going to be cast. Honestly, to be honest, I saw the outplay and the fact that Senna didn't have her route. But to be honest, it's a good snipe to see where the Yone goes and dropping it. It's pretty accurate. I like that play overall from Pays. However, Bin did walk into it. He did give over the kill. But if I'm honest, if Bin was going to give over the kill, much rather preferred it if the Karthus did not get an assist, giving him a stack into the Dark Seal. Plus, he could have, obviously, Pays stopped autoing to get the assist. You're in between a tower and a Senna. You could have honestly have just took 2 tower shots because you had no wave there. That would have been the execute to not allow the Karthus to kill you. Anyway, BLG secure Herald. It's going to crash mid. Won't kill the tower. But it will result in a couple of Senna stacks. They're happy about that. Top side, another static Shiv picked up. This time in the inventory of Bin. He's going to be pretty content, as this is a very strong wave pushing comp for BLG. They're looking to control lanes as, here we go, we see the TP coming through. The Q from the Yone misses. Cassante hasn't got the Intofo strikes to stun, but he does have W. Then Bin gets hit, and essentially what he's doing is waiting for one ability from the Senna. It's that one. Once that's gone, he can kind of just TP out. He sticks around one too many autos. And he could have honestly have lived. Oh, he was pixels away from escaping. But he kind of sidestepped. Like this way. And then stepped kind of back. So he kind of put himself back into the center role, which is not BNA. However, the interesting thing is he does have a goal lead. And it comes from tower damage. He's obviously secured top lane tier 1 for himself. He gets the passive TF income that we don't really talk about too much anymore. The fact that TF gets extra gold killing minions. And it's very, very potent. Now, right now you see total gold in favor of BLG, and the interesting thing obviously to know is the CS that this Lucian has. 170 basically CS. I don't want to say 69 because nice. But he is up a considerably large amount as Bin going to be able to dodge the Yone with his flash. A lot of damage down, the wind becomes lightning, comes out from Shun, looking to continue the chase, but the TPs are going to come in from GenG, and they're looking to answer the play. The Dawning Shadow keeps alive the Shone, and BLG overcommit to try and get a pick, but Chovy's too strong right now to fall to that one. And we're already starting to see inklings of panic out from BLG. They're falling not behind just yet, but they're worried about the scaling that GenG have. They know they need to push and win the game quick. It's why you see the double static shift. It's why you see a lot more focus on the towers for BLG. They've killed 3 towers right now. All the outers gone. Drake's soul would be great. Chemtech, not the best soul, obviously, but I think GenG can kind of contest this. The upfront damage from BLG is quite minimal. The only thing they really have is Tom Kench goes forward with the Abyssal Voyage, forced to flash out. Takes an incredibly large amount of damage as that starts up the Drake for BLG. GenG stepping into the river with a 4-man unit. Tom Kench has TP, so he's able to get back to the play. Into the lineups, both 5v5s here. A lovely bubble lands. Destiny going to be channeled as BLG secured a Drake. Where is Bin gonna go? He's heading to the bot side of the map as the Abyssal Voyage used once more, hunting to get picks here, GenG. Realizing now that Bin's gone bot side, they could force Baron in 50 seconds. Because Bin has no way of getting there. If that objective was up, you could definitely see GenG rushing towards it. Anyway, bot side, lovely flash out from Bin to avoid the Fate Sealed. Gold card, Wind becomes Lightning Flash to land and secure it. Pretty accurate, but this is where Bin overagreed to try and get the kill. The shield from the Cassante, plus another shield from the W of the Yone. Dawning Shadow on top just to make sure he stays alive. Bin had no chance. And he overcommits to his death. He does, however, now have a rapid fire cannon. And somehow there's a 1.4k gold lead in that top lane. Makes no sense to me. Anyway. Gold board for Elk. The static shift does work, baby. Keeping all of BLG's gold in a strong bank. And right now, him and Bin are the ones in lead for this BLG lineup. Now, arguably, you could say that lead is non-existent, considering the fact that in team fights, BLG don't really do enough damage to burst through GenG's front line, and that TK plus Cassante can't really fall. Looking at the builds of BLG, like, it's minimal damage right now. LDR starting to be built by Lucian to be able to kind of shred through them tanks, but there's no, like, IE in the inventories. Bloodthirster, big BF sword, like, items, longsword items in the back pockets for this BLG lineup. And compared to the center, who's got opportunity, you got Bork in the inventory of the Shone, a pickaxe to build. QSS, don't see that item too much from anyone really in the current meta. Picked up here for Yone as Cullen thrown out, TK soaking up the damage. It's interesting to say the least that this is what we're seeing, because you don't necessarily see it that much from teams at this tournament. QSS gonna, if you think about it, what is that really there to negate? Well, the route from the Nico, TF gold card, pretty potent in that regard. You've got Nami bubble. That's really it that you can kind of cleanse out of. I mean, you can try and cleanse out the Nico ult, but it's really not that worthwhile to do because of the knock-up aspect of it. So, personally speaking, I like it to kind of be able to get backline access and shred through the carries. However, Mikhail's would be honestly a better pickup if they had a actual support. Because, bear in mind, TK is a farmer, so he is actually a tank that's equivalent to a top laner. But, meh. It is what it is. I'm intrigued by this Nico build, by the way. Protobelt into Leandries for Knight. It's an awkwardly weird one where you're stacking up ticking damage. I mean, the AP that you get from it is pretty good. Better than the likes of Ludens. But, to be honest, Nico kind of is more of a burst heavy mage. And I get that you kind of want to have a bit more health, a bit more tankiness to be able to get in and pop blossom. I'm thinking the Yone and the Karthus execute burst damage is pretty high. So it makes a little sense for that. However, honestly, Seeker's Armguard second into Zhonya's might have been a little bit more beneficial, as third Drake, Soul Point, actually not Soul Point, Soul on the table if BLG can secure it. They are able to do so as a massive 4-man Pop Blossom lands. BLG wiping the floor with GenG here. The Requiem's going to be channeled and it won't get a kill just yet. Instead, it's the Yone, Chovy, and actually the Karthus picking up Bin, winning out on that play. What a big fight. A lot of blood on the Rift. Most of it is GenG's. As BLG show up for the pit, they secure the Chemtank Drake Soul and are looking to possibly turn into a Baron. As we watch the fight again, Tidal Wave pushes away GenG. This is a massive Pop Blossom. Good all out, I guess, from Keen to kind of negate the Pop Blossom's effect. But, to be honest, the fight was done. Malignant. Oh, that pathing from Bin gave the kill over to Karthus. Really not the most ideal of plays. That teamfight damage from the Karthus already becoming pretty high. As we watch on for the next teamfight. He's finally got Leandries, actually. I'm pretty sure he must have built that on reset, because he definitely didn't have it in the last fight. Culling's going to be thrown out. Chovy tanks it up a little bit. Then Lehens gets the rest of it. BLG on the front foot. They won the last fight. They've got soul. And if we look back to yesterday and how BLG played, they weren't the team to force. As T1 got punished for forcing as on the top side, Xin Zhao caught out. Crescent guards used as Xin Zhao gets devoured. He's pulled back into GenG and executed off. The kill goes over to Canyon with the jungler down. GenG can turn to Baron. BLG, will they contest is a real question. Nico going to be using the clone to get towards the pit. Spot that this one's being taken. Yone, Chovy goes aggressive. He gets his item popped as in goes BLG. The Baron is secured, but Bin secures the trade kill. Nico's down, and so is the TF. Lucian on the wrong side of the map using the blast plant to get away as quick as possible from this GenG lineup. Lahen's using the Abyssal Voids to chase down GenG's BLG. Chovy on the run forward. Red Cream was used. A lot of damage out from it as well. But BLG falling behind. We saw them win out at the dragon fight, but one mistake, one misplay led to the pick on their jungler. And with Jun being down, Canyon gets a free and easy Baron. As we start the fight, the Fate Sealed from Yone pulls himself to safety away from Bin. Knight gets pulled into the pit and executed off. Bin gets the kill, but Pays is there to respawn and kill off Bin. As a whole, it's the chase down sequence of GenG into BLG that result in them getting the kills, getting picks, and now with Baron on their backs, they can quite easily continue to siege. We were just starting to say that BLG aren't the team that like to force. They kind of play it slow, methodical, wait for you to engage into them, and then they turn it around. And well, not the most fun of games to watch. It's a style that results in them just winning outright. Now they're on the back foot. GenG have a better scaling team. They've got a lot of outstanding gold on the map to pick up that they're trying to, but to be honest, BLG's hold's pretty good. Surprisingly, it's only a 1.1k Baron. It's not even that, it's less. But as a whole, it's such a minimalistic Baron that BLG are probably very happy with how this one is turning out for them. It was a slight fumble, but with the fact that there's 23 seconds on this Baron, nothing's been actually gained for GenG here. They're still behind in gold by 3k. BLG still maintain their mid-tier one, with Elder up in 20 seconds and a combat gold lead here for BLG. They're probably content with stepping up into the river, as the Culling's going to be chucked out, just chipping slightly away at the front line of GenG. Lucian's just going to heal himself up with the ebb and flow and some Vamp Scepter damage. Elder's going to be started. Bin is not in a position to go in. He drops the Destiny and he's looking for a flank. He's not actually going to go in flank. Never mind, he's TPing to the bot side of the map. He's just going to force the push. Mid lane's pushing in favor of BLG. So's the bot lane. He's already secured tower as a flash out there from Bin. On gets to safety as Tidal Wave comes through. They're already looking to burst out this TK. Dawning Shadow goes over the top as the Karthus secures a kill, but Bin's already killed the Karthus. The Elder Dragon could be a possibility, but the Requiem is huge. And BLG are low. GenG on the hunt as Casante's looking to do Casante things. When becomes lightning lands, Casante dashing forward. The Thunder Sky keeping this Xin Zhao alive. He was unable to get into the pit. And that's kind of unfortunate if you think about it. Jungle and support versus top and mid. You kind of think maybe there's a chance for BLG to secure the Elder. But no, it's not there. GenG, thanks to some lovely team fighting from Karthus pressing R, win out on the fight. And it starts off looking dire with TK being caught out. The Crescent Guard, though, gets used incredibly early there from BLG. And it's interesting because BLG are free firing in. It's a double kill. Both the bot lane of GenG are down. A triple kill to Bin happened in the fight. But the Karthus, the impact he can have with that Requiem, with his Skittles, is just so high that it kind of goes unnoticed in a blue river. You don't necessarily notice the damage area. And in the thick of a fight, it's so hard to pay attention to it when you've got other champions jumping on top of you. That being said, GenG finally have a lead. They've got Elder for another minute. And with the fact that BLG can't necessarily step up into them, it's going to be hard to do anything, as massive devour there from Lahens saves his top laner's life from being picked off. And honestly speaking, I don't actually think there's too many members with this Elder buff. It's only Chovy and Keen who do have this buff. So BLG can't really step forward, as Chovy just gets to play bodyguard on the hunt, trying to get onto this Xin Zhao. Wind becomes lightning, will spot that this Baron is dropping quite quick. Now no longer in vision. Smite secures it for GenG, who are looking to pick off Elk in the mid lane. Now, as this is all happening, BLG are securing objectives for themselves. Bin, though, gonna be caught out. Gold card used. Not gonna be hit by the Tongue Lash. Instead, the Abyssal Voyage gonna come through. Finally, the Tongue Lash lands. Gold cards, though, chipping away at On's health bar. But here comes the Casante. All out is used, and he secures the kill, shutting down this TF. BLG, BLG, BLG. After one pick right here, they're playing on the back foot for a long period of time. And I think it's from the inability to try and make plays. We were saying that they like the enemies to make mistakes and they punish, but if you're unable to make plays yourselves, like, you're playing so slow methodically that it benefits a hard scaling comp like this that GenG have. The Karthus outscales you. The Senna infinitely outscales you. Casante does Casante things the later the game goes. And with the Yone there, that also has incredible scale, it's just a comp GenG have drafted to outscale you. And it works so incredibly well that I think BLG as a whole need to rethink the drafts and the bans that they put down against BLG, because this can no longer be allowed to happen. Anyway, a bit of trading. Xin Zhao trying to get forward, but the Intofo Strike is going to force the play. Tidal Wave and the Bubble Lens. Wubble Bubble. Can we talk about that explosion to Knight's clone? Like, sure, the clone takes more damage, or has less health, I forget which one. But gosh, it got annihilated. It's about 50% of its health bar was deleted by one of those Requiems. And this is the power of Dark Harvest Karthus. The continualized scaling. The fact that he no longer has the Dark Seal because he's bought 4 complete items that are there to just delete health bars, not allow you to heal up. It's such a gruesome champion that, honestly, kind of content. I think at this stage of the game, he's just looking to press R on cooldown, as these items for BLG aren't really resisting what he can do. I mean, Stark's Gate has some resistances, the lower health you are, but Senna's already outranging you. And looking to get a pick here onto the Zinzao. Crescent Guard's going to be used, but the continualized damage from Yone just keeping him chipped away. Bin shows up with the rest of his team as Keen shows up with a TP. On the top side of things, Lucian is starting to free fire into this TK, but as a whole, Elder's on the table. And GenG want that big dragon. What can BLG do? Keep your eyes on Bin as the TP is going to come through. The resets are being channeled as Senna's health bar taken incredibly low. So has the TKs. Chovy goes on the backside, popping the blast cone, not giving an avenue in. Elk and Shun forced to reposition as the Pop Blossom lands onto 2, but is it enough work? The Elder is being secured as this happens, and Karthus secures it. Cassante gets the kill onto Elk, and this game is over. The Requiem is being channeled, and it's the demise of Bin as GenG wipe the floor in a perfectly executed fight around the Elder. Game 1 in the books for the LCK first seed as they take the lead in this grand finals. Hashtag we scaling, boys. I think that's the best way to describe game 1. Game 2. Let's get it. Instantly, you have to feel that, similarly to game number 2 of yesterday's series, GenG will go to blue side. Not GenG, BLG will go to blue side. As blues just seems to be most dominant side, and yep, blue side for BLG. Will the bands change that much? Chovy's pool being pinched again. I think you have to look at the Ari Talia being removed already. I think the mid lane's going to be pinched heavily as the Hui Cassante removed by BLG. This is looking like a first pick Camille angle. That doesn't say come, it says Cam. I think you kind of look at Camille here, but then you look at Premier ADCs. Do you go Senna? Do you be the ones to take Senna? Or Ashe? That's up and available. GenG could go... I mean, you go Ashe. Do they go Callista? No, you don't go Callista into Ashe. You don't do that. Ashe counters it. I think you take Varus. Take the Varus. In this situation. It just plays better. than the Callista into this. So now I think they go Varus. Varus into this one. You've got hooks, you've got Varus ults. Not hooks? Where did that come from? You can't go Nautilus either with this Callista. So Varus comes through. I think you lock in jungle as well. I don't think there's really that many good options for jungle when Sedge is locked in. I think maybe Viego or Xin. And I like Viego into Sedge because of just the amount of damage you can put down onto her with like Kraken Slayer. And sure, Sedge kind of bodies you when she gets stunned and has team around you. I do like, though, Varus. Not Varus, Viego. But Xin locked in here, going into Shun's hands. Do we see support for GenG here? I mean, you know what the entire bot lane for BLG is. Nope. Just lock in Chovy's Yone. I mean, it could technically be Keen's, but it's probably going to Chovy. And combine it with Sedge. That is the Permafrost combo. It's like Renekton, where you can stack up Permafrost really quickly with attack speed. And with how Yone works with crit damage and crit speed and all that. Crit speed, attack speed. It's very powerful, actually, Sedge Yone. And I think he may go... I think this is looking like a Camille angle. Don't ask me why. That's the Annie ban. We know that Knight plays it. Double mid lane banned here by GenG. So Rumble. So to remove the AP option. I think you might have to ban Camille here. It makes the most sense to benefit the most out of this Sedge. Jax actually is a similar situation. I like that. But I still think Camille's going to come in here for GenG. Or TF. TF actually is looking quite sexy. That's a blitz. Ballista. The Ballista bot lane. It's been a long time since we've talked about it. But this is such a deadly combo. If you can time the Q with the Fate's Call, you get a juicy long range pullback. And I mean, you look at the targets that are there for GenG to hook. I mean, the bot lane, the Ori. You kind of want to avoid the Xin. Camille, I mean, Bin's Camille's very strong. Getting onto the backline could be quite hard because Blitz can peel, Sedge can peel. I think this is a TF angle more than anything. And as much as I hate saying squishy targets, I would much rather prefer a bruisery top laner. Like, the funny thing is Cassante was banned by BLG. So this angle that they've gone... I understand the premise of the comp because you've got ball delivery systems with the Camille and the Xin. But, like... to be honest, you've got 4 targets that you realistically can hook and kill and burst out if you're GenG. You've got perfectly large amount of peel for this team. I think the interesting comp or the thing about GenG's comp is no AP. Zac has minimalistic if you think about it, but it's not really an AP comp. And the champions that they're setting up to kind of be the frontline-esque protect the Callista Yone is a very interesting one because it's a we're going hunting and we're gonna kill you sort of style. I like the comp from GenG. Just maybe a Gragas would have been beneficial. Something with a bit more AP. However, on the other hand, what resistances are BLG going to build? They don't really have a tank. So GenG can build essentially full damage AD and still delete them, because the only real frontline members is the Xin Zhao and the Camille. Camille innately gets resistances through her item build, but it isn't that much. Xin's the only real one who gets mega resistance with the Crescent Guard, with stacks and stuff like that. But typically speaking, I would say that GenG's comp just will outperform. The scaling factor of the Zac becomes quite potent. Just looking at these runes also. Glacial. So he's looking for picks and multiple targets jumping into the backside. Because Glacial slows and it drops like a squirt of like slow, like in a track like that. So as a whole, you kind of are looking to just make it so that there's no real, what's the word I'm looking for? It makes it just that harder for BLG to escape if they're hooked. Anyway, Bin already getting aggressive early, kind of spotting out the lane swap with Blitz being up there, and with the fact that Kallista's already in lane, it's really hard for Bin to go to lane. Instead, he's just being bullied out of the split map, so he's actually still being chased, as top laners can't really go to lane because there's no real agency in him. Now, what I'll say is still more beneficial for Keen because Bin's not in a position to make any play, whereas Keen can just walk up to the top side and start whacking away at this tower. Bin gonna try and make a play onto Dione, who had his Q3. I still don't know the difference between Yone's ability names and the Yasuo's, and considering the fact that we watched a Yasuo yesterday, it's kind of interesting. A lot of damage been put down, as Hookshot's gonna get Jovi's flash yet again. Been costing this mid laner early once more, and I am intrigued to see how that transitions, as once again, turret play trade, it's going to be 2 plates for 2 plates at this rate. The interesting thing is, obviously, it's 3 members top for GenG compared to the 2 bot side. So, in theory, the trade is slightly faster for GenG. However, if you think about it, double attack speed champions that are ranged for BLG, a little bit better for them. And speaking of which, tower dive been set up. They waited for the TP. A lovely hook from Lehens. Instantly on arrival, BLG get punished. And they were kind of trying to set up the same play on the bottom side, but GenG punished faster. Punished more effectively. The even funnier bit is BLG, the way they positioned the wave wasn't that beneficial to them, because they backed away and they're kind of forced to stick around a little longer than they expected. It's just harder. I think he missed a cannon. That's something I see a lot in from these casters is they ping, or they highlight cannons being missed as mid lane. Yone's going aggressive, the wind becomes lightning lands, but no continual chase out from BLG. Gonna get away to safety. Mortal Steel. That's the name of the Yone Q. So, continuous of a chase of VOD comes through and Bin shows up to secure the kill onto Chovy. He got his flash earlier. This time he gets his life. And this mid lane tower is starting to be cracked. TP gonna come through, presumably from Chovy, to get back and not allow too much to be done to his mid lane tower. It will result in a plate though. So BLG kind of content with that one. They get a kill. Bit of damage down to the mid lane tier 1. GenG's response hasn't really come out just yet. And I'm just watching Lehends' pathing. Going forward. He's hunting. He gets the knock up. The Q lands. And he gets the kill for his bot laner. BLG. You see a blitz running towards you. And you just stand there. Not expecting to die. Like, what? In the end, punished. And this comp that GenG have drafted, eerily similar to what T1 did yesterday. It's just change out the Yasuo for the Yone. I don't think they took Sedge yesterday. What was it? The owner went. But it was engage support with the Callista. This does remind me a lot of what we saw yesterday from Faker's Yasuo. Regardless, Grubby secured by GenG. 3 grubs. Drake's on the table. Neither team's gone to it yet. And we're also seeing Chovy kind of hovering with his jungler to clear out multiple camps, speed up the clear. GenG full control of bot side. Shockwave going to be used. There's a Fate Sealed traded back, so ult for ult. I think that kind of puts it in a situation where Drake will go over to BLG. Purely because of mid-trade, so beneficial to them. No TP on Chovy either. But just keep your eyes on this hook shot. Gonna not. That's On's ult coming. Not Onzy coming through. As mid lane just being chunked away. This Ashe showing up when needed to get turret plating. As the issue is now, because Ashe is mid, Elk can't step up to the wave. So GenG punishing. It's 2 waves lost to the tower. And BLG can't really step up. They're bringing in the cavalry. Another 3 members. TPs are available to the top laners if they want to go in. Sedge goes through as a hook lands. They get the pick onto one. The Ashe is down. And Sedge flashes the wall to get to safety. Fate's Call going to be used alongside it. And it goes wide. But the Blitz, he's hunting. He sees the pick and it's that Orianna. Deleted where she stands as Pays gets the kill. GenG, they're isolating and punishing members. They're continuing to chase as that's going to be Elk caught out on the backside. Xin gets on top of the Callista. And the Varus secures the kill. Chovy leaves his ADC to die. But while that's all happening, more minions being burnt. Zach gets to dance as the tower falls. Keen, very happy bobble man. Turret down. First tower's secured by GenG. And it's honestly a waterfall effect. The fact that because Arn went mid and forced to try and get a pick onto Chovy, it meant that the bot side of the map becomes very vulnerable. It means Elk can't step up. He loses tower plating. And because he's in that situation, he's essentially calling for the rest of his team to collapse down. And while they do, effectively, what happens is it forces GenG into a situation where they can counterplay with the Blitz. And because essentially Camille wanted to be in a position where she can TP in and not be interrupted by Zach, she went back to base. And because Keen didn't go towards the play because he saw that it was a winning one already for GenG, he just killed the tower. So GenG realistically just playing the map a lot better than what BLG are. And it's continued to stack up in the gold. 2k at 10 minutes. Pretty nice. There's no real scaling factor to care about in this one compared to last game, as this time it's kind of interesting to see the fact that Bins was given free time in this top lane. Obviously, GenG wanted to skill Drake. The Sedge ult goes wide, and Canyon falls. Essentially, I think he was trying to hit the Ori to not allow an assist, but a little wayward with that one, even though he's not in this game. Orm forced the flash away from the Blitz. Who didn't have to burn his flash. Pretty powerful. Now, of note, this Blitz can be effective in punishing is TP gonna come through here. Hexite ultimatum's channeled onto the Zac, who's just starting to bounce. Shockwave gets flashed out of, but Zac passive procced. Zin's here. The kill was always going to go through, and Knight gets on the board with his first kill. That should also be a couple of plates, but TP comes through from Chovy. So the response from GenG is quite smart. Slightly concerned, obviously, about the three members that we already saw topside. I would have been, but Chovy doesn't really care. Not going to be threatened by a tower dive, so he just gets clear the wave. No XP lost, no gold lost off minions, and BLG just content with getting a kill onto the Zac, getting his passive out of the kind of big thing, considering Herald's up in a minute, so they can go towards that. Possibly get that for themselves as On stepping forward, catapult from the Zac gets him into this, and I wish he had Let's Bounce, but unfortunately he does not. But On, spotted by the Callista, over the wall goes the Sedge, the chase down comes through, and Canyon gets the kill. That's for picking me off earlier, grr. No. GenG returning back to full strength. As the hook lands, a blind hook picks off the Zin. The enchanted crystal arrow lands onto Pays, but he's able to cleanse out. Face Call pulls away the Blitz as well. GenG on full retreat after a dicey hook, to say the least. And he can land another, and indeed he does. This time, the Zin's pulled into his demise, as the Varus doesn't have enough damage to get the kill. The catapult almost lands, but the Sigil is the one that does. Let's bounce onto this Varus, but he's not going to be able to do too much. Hextech ultimatums pulling them into their demise, and Varus gets a kill, but Lehend, the Snipe Master, pulls the Varus to his demise. It's a massive just trade of kills, as it's a 2 for 2. Wow. It's a big fight. Big fight atmosphere. Lehens is just getting the kills, the picks needed for his team. GenG, though, still able to play. The mid lane tier 1 falls in favor of BLG, so they come out on top in that trade. But the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, hunting, Shockwave was there if needed. But On, yet again, gets a kill when I don't think he really should have. Personally, give it over. Cough it over, as this is just Hook City. Kalista and Blitz secured a kill. The Varus ult lands, and Lens is taken incredibly low. Flash out, and this is kind of where the overcommit from GenG comes. The TP gets used, and Bin's here. He's able to do a lot of work. The Varus snipe lands, and down goes Keen. It's a 1-for-1 trade then between the ADC who's hooked and support that hooks him. So, as it stands, I think BLG win out, obviously, with the Drake. Not Drake, the tower. However, goal went over in better places for GenG. Now we've got Drake for Herald as a trade. As Cedric goes wide, but the chase is continuing. The catapult lands, and the blitz hunt goes alongside it. It's just being put into a bounce house here in this game. Keen gonna be run down and killed off. As GenG on the full retreat, they've got no mid tier 1 to kind of play devil's advocate as a hook lands. Good night to you, Shun. Lehens can't miss. Chovy's going forward. Fate Seal's gonna land. He's looking to get the pick onto the Orianna, but the chase is still going as On is killed off. It's a shutdown. Don't know how that one comes through. BLG, it's falling apart for you, and it's all because this blitz is hunting you and hooking you to your demise. I'm looking here at TP options because Bin is in a position of insecurity. Recall's gonna come through in the mid lane, but I'm personally looking at this, and simply put, Varus is isolated. The Central goes very wide, but Blitz Hook into the Zac Q just pulls the Varus around. Let's bounce under the tower. But On's free firing and steals another. To be honest, really could have given that kill over tonight. This hook. It looked out of range, but he's able to get it, as Zac passive's going to be utilized here just to secure a pick onto Bin. Blitz is here. Lehens on the chase down. Bin still able to flash away. He's getting away. They invested quite a bit there, GenG, for absolutely nothing. BLG, however, get to pushing topside. It's all about choo-choo train. Just gonna pull Knight to safety, really. Herald's not even really gonna get another charge. But Knight's gonna get back to base without the threat, as hi, Mr. Elk. Flash out to avoid the blitz hook. And this is just Lehens running at you and getting your summoners. It's so painful. When you're facing a blitz who's ahead, you can't really play the map. And Bin, he's been hunted. Zac catapulting in. Q lands. Blitz is here. Let's bounce on top of it. And it's just knock up into knock up. Bin didn't have chance to land as he took air, Zac, and Blitz. Need to think of a catchier name than that. But to be honest, it's a pretty potent combo, as that's going to be a status used here by Knight as he's just jumped on by this GenG lineup. The continuation of damage is a massive shockwave lands, but the Fate Seal gets onto the backside and kills off the Orianna. Somehow the Varus dies alongside that. And the hook comes through. Good night, 3 members of BLG. GenG are here to show up and punish. The mid lane tier 1's going to be forfeit. And now Blitz has more hiding spots. More places to get picks. As the Baron spawns, I'm looking for the Zinhook. As he's coming. The Ash Arrow is going to land. It tags the Blitz. But BLG are here. Shun isn't being given access as Chovy's forcing him away. Baron secured as on the backside is Knight. No, it's Bin. Zin's going in, but he is sacrificing himself. That's 2 members of BLG down. It's going to be a third as Zon's caught once more. A triple kill over to Pays. This Kalista on for the Penta if he wanted it. Not going to be able to get it. Instead, BLG kind of getting desperate now. Overcommit after overcommit, as this is just a lovely flash hook from Blitz, forcing the status out from the Ori, who's just waiting for them to clump up. The ball in a position, the shockwave lands onto 2, but it's a massive over the wall from Chovy. The Fate Sealed kills off Elk. The hook, it's just Lens. It's his show, hitting them every time. To be honest, as he's still hunting, he's nowhere near his team and he's still hunting for hooks. BLG are almost getting hit by him. It's sad to see, to be honest. Soul Point secured by GenG. And now the Baron Siege can actually begin now. Hens is hunting. Popping that W just to get forward. It's always a fun thing to do. He hasn't actually gone for Trailblazer. I'm just looking at the build. He's gone Dead Man's Play. And so he's getting the innate movement speed from that. He's also gone Swifties. So not boots and mobility. Kind of nice. Puts him in a situation where he continue. As Zach's getting on top of the Camille. Let's bounce use. He's waiting for this chase down. Sedgel lands and Pays is here to go legendary. This game's out of BLG's hands now. There's no real control. I'm just waiting for the Blitz to land another hook. Because it's coming. Turret siege in the mid lane being set up. Hens is here. Oh, nearly hitting. I think that was on with the hook. It was either on or Shun. Both in very similar skins, to be honest. I just realised BLG have actually gone for a colour scheme. All black. Plus Orianna. Kind of weird. I'm actually surprised about 4 minutes ago, BLG had a gold lead. Does surprise me a little bit. But that was from the kill trays, wasn't it? Overall. Anyway. As we continue forward. Bin's isolated. No vision there for him to spot that he is being run down. Pays shows up. Blitz shows up. The hook lands. And down he goes. If you couldn't tell, Pays is legendary still. With Soul on the table in 2 minutes. The game feels over. I think Bin gave up, honestly. Because he didn't try to flash out. He knew that the chase down was too much from GenG. And honestly, BLG probably starting to think about Game 3. How do they play and beat GenG's comps. Because GenG have beaten them with scaling. They've beaten them with an early game pick comp. How do you get through what GenG are drafting? And I think, realistically looking at it, they've tried to shut down Chovy with his picks. But that may be not the right person to go after. As Sedgwick goes through, it misses, but the catapult from the Zac does not. Down goes on once more, and the Blitz is on the hunt for some more kills. Hook not going to be thrown. As GenG just going to take away jungle. Why not? It's their map now, and BLG can't really contest them. They're not giving them an avenue past this line. And it's so hard to play out this one. The hook's gonna land once more. A burst of damage onto Elk. Camille falls, topside. Shun is being ran down. The Fate Seal comes through to flash out. It gets away with it, to be fair. Shun does well there. But on tempting fate once more. Q lands. Catapult comes through. Hook coming through from the Blitz. Gets the flash out from the Ori. No safety now. And she is gonna fall. Kalissa's too far ahead. And On is dead. BLG just crumbling as their base falls are all around them. GenG putting on an onslaught in this game. And they're going back for Soul. Why not? They don't need to end just yet. It's 24 kills to wait. 11k gold lead. Rattling off these figures don't really matter. Soul's going to be secured off the back of this. And pretty much game number 2 as well. Where are we? Blitz hook hits the Varus. The burst from the Kalista just is too much. Bin's been jumped on by the Zac. It's just a wombo combo of just hitting everything all in one go and making it so hard to play. BLG just being outclassed. Baron on the table, but I don't think we're going to see it started just yet. The Zac's being caught off on one side, able to jump over the wall. Sedge stepping forward with the shield of Mountain Soul. It just makes this tickling of damage from the Ashe very worthless. Chanting Crystal Arrow hits the Blitz who's body blocking. And to be honest, the catapult in. They're hunting and they get the picks. Xin incredibly low. The Fate Seal won't land yet again, but the catapult will. It's a dead Varus. As the Sedge... Sorry, the Shockwave doesn't even do much, to be honest, at this stage. No ADC means no fighting for BLG, and Baron will be scored by the LCK squad of GenG. Bin's been hunted. Hook lands. He manages to hook shot over the wall. But Baron, the inevitable goal of BLG off the back of that. They're going to get it. The resets come through. But with the base in tatters, BLG, the hopes of fighting back against this Baron are second to none, to be honest. There's really no chance here. As GA in the back inventory of Pays. He's got 4 completed items. Building up to his 5th lethality item. He's got GA, he's got Edge of Night. How do you kill this Kalista? This all also providing so much resistance. It will take a miracle for BLG to win this one. And this game becomes less and about analysis because, to be honest, there's not really much analysis you can do over a stomp like this. We're just waiting for the catapult, we're waiting for the hook. Edge of Knights to be popped away from BLG to allow for this to happen. Zach's charging the electric slingshot, but will not go in. The Mountain Soul shielding, just too much. It's a tickling to Zach health bar. Chovy goes forward and the engage comes through. Bin gets hooked up. He's onto the backside, but that's going to be a Fate's Call utilized to get the pick off onto this Camille. In goes the Blitzcrank, but he is immediately forced out. Zach passive popped, and the shutdown gets picked up here by Elk. It's 2 kills to 1 here as they're continuing to step forward. Zin's hunting the smite down. Chovy taken low, but the shielding, it is not enough as the GA is popped. He's almost going to be sacrificed here as Sedge goes in, stopping the Orianna. The Seeker's Arm Guard comes through, but Pays is still here. It's a triple kill to the Callista. And BLG get run over in their base in a fight that looks almost certainly like one that was going to be won by them. But BLG, they get to live for another day. Even though GenG, realistically, on the verge of winning. The Nexus Tower, the singular Nexus Tower, keeping this one alive. Rageblade just secured by the Varus. Just saw that on my side of the screen, but he's only at 3 items. This Callista, full build nearly. In fact, pretty much is full build. That Ghostblade was picked up. And she's hunting. So is the Blitzcrank. Lehens, the absolute madman, wanting to get the kills, wanting to keep his team ahead. The Edge of Night not going to be popped off there. On still keeps it. And that's kind of the big thing. The Edge of Night keeping BLG's backline alive. It's kind of surprising that this Varus doesn't have one, as they're finally popping them off. Bin TP's in. Could have honestly have been picked off. Zin goes forward as BLG beginning to chase. Zach catapults out to safety as the massive 3-man shockwave comes through from BLG. They get the pick onto Elk. Sorry, onto Pays. And they're looking to get more. Chovy will fall. BLG are winning this one. The Let's Bounce from this Zach gets the pick back. Will he be able to elastic slingshot away? Yes, he will. But BLG win the fight. Elder on the table. Have GenG thrown this one? Lehens plus Keen and Canyon need to secure this. They've somehow isolated off this Orianna. Onto the backside they go. Sedge secure to kill, but she's immediately being focused down. Keen showing up, and he's here. He needs to kill this Varus, but he's being ran down. The auto attacks come through. The catapult's denied. It's a triple kill to Shun, but they can't get the Elder. The game continues as their base is in tatters. The Nexus open almost as the inhibitor falls. They've lost both inhibitors once more. Their base just is in shambles. But they're still alive. They won out in that fight. They got the pick onto Elk. But with his GA still off, he won't have it for another probably minute or two. BLG can look for another pick onto him. The Elder's going to be started up. Keep your eyes on the response. Keen is still down. He doesn't have TP. But what can GenG do to fight this? The hook goes wide. Elder secured for BLG. It's a bounty. Even more gold going to be picked up to even out this situation. The gold gap shrinks, and so should the item difference. But GenG secure Baron. That's kind of surprising that BLG didn't go to contest the Baron. Instead, forced to sit in base with the fact that they've got no TPs. They've got no protection. GenG could just march in. Instead, the defense of the base was needed from BLG. As we're focusing on Bin delivering the big shockwave of doom, the 4-man ulti. Chovy the only one to be missed by it. A Fate Seal goes wide in the backside, by the way. Chovy's not really been accurate with that one all series, and he needed to there to win that fight. Unfortunately for him, he falls. BLG get a lifeline with the Elder. But GenG still in control, still have the lead. Soul is stacked up on them. BLG have utilized this Elder to get the waves out of their base. They can't really go for objectives because of how susceptible to the picks of the Blitz they are. Keep your eyes on this engage for GenG. The Zac, the Blitz, looking, trying to get these Edge of Knights off. And to be honest, how do you get the Edge of Knight off of these carries? It's incredibly hard to do so. So that's a Jack Shao in Varus' inventory. He's got a lot of resistance if he's able to stack that one up. These Edge of Knights, though, as we get back to it, more specifically the one-on-one, how do you proc it if you're GenG? Sigil, Callista Q? From range, it's very hard for GenG to do, so they need to engage if they want to pop him. But that's a Zac that has to engage and hit it. Because if not, Blitz can't hook it. You can't kill this Ashe that's setting up for the team. I'm actually surprised by the build that On's gone for. Full lethality here. No like Imperial Mandate to set up for the Varus to do damage. And that kind of awkwardness of the build is really hard to do. There's the massive pop of the Edge of Knight, and On is down. Into the backline goes to the Zac as he gets the Q. The massive flash out from him to avoid being executed off by the Shockwave. No Shockwave now for the Orianna. Nexus Tower in the sight of GenG. The inhibitor falls in top lane. And the Nexus Tower is going to be focused as a hook lands. It is demise of Elk. As the Fate Sealed is literally his Fate Sealed in this game. Game 2 will go over once more to GenG as the triple kill make it the quadra for this Callista is set up. They're going to camp the fountain. The respawn of Ashe comes through. Give him the pentakill to end out game 2. I think that's the first ever pentakill in an MSI final. And it goes over to the LCK Starchild ADC Pays. Picking that one up in a pretty explosive game that in the end got closer than people expected. But it wasn't enough. GenG won out in a massive, massive explosion that, to be honest, was caused by Lahenz's hooks. That guy on Blitz is nuts. And it's why so many picks went over to GenG in that game. And why FaZe got so far ahead. Anyway, game 3. Give me a minute, I need a drink because holy moly, I was talking for a long time. Okay, so game number 3. Do or die for BLG. For this game, they take blue once more, and the bans stay relatively the same. Lucian removed this time. I think they removed that in game 2, but it's still not full targeting of Chovy's pool, as 4 mids still removed by either team. I think they'll stay the same as Naught's removed again. Does the priorities change? Is it going to be Senna? Yes. Kalista? Or do we see something else? Varus also up. Ashe up. These options are there. It's just the tried and true Kalista with the Ashe. So they're the ones piloting it this game. BLG's response. You can't go Nautilus. Is it TK? Is it Ornn? We saw the Ornn yesterday. I would like to see it again. It's not gonna be, however. It's TK. Is it Zin again? What do you go? Nidalee. Ooh. Instead of dodging blitz hooks, you're dodging spears. Okie dokie. Lee Sin locked in. So, ban phase 2. Mid's still up. So, Azir. Hui. Probably going to be banned by BLG. Do you need to ban all mids? Ori. Camille. I like that. I think the Camille ban works well considering how it was utilized in the last game as a ball delivery system. I think the Ori ban needs to really come through, or it's going to be picked up here by Chovy. Either way, BLG need to kind of remove some mids from the pool, I think. K'Sante. I'm not really too fussed about K'Sante in this series. I mean, Camille being banned kind of does force this ban. But top laners, the pools aren't necessarily there for it. I think Nico's also an option for a ban, by the way. Triss, so is this an Azir angle? Azir angle for Chovy. So kind of trying to force the Azir ban. Nico Ori is still available. So you can't ban all the mids of power. I think kind of looking at them as the options for Chovy on 4. Because I don't think you really need counter pick mid in this situation. I think you're more realistically focused on securing top counter pick against Bin. Hui, so yeah, makes sense to lock in mid 4th. You see the rest of BLG's draft. I'm thinking Renekton, the old combo with Nidalee or Jax as options. Azir, I like it. If you can get onto the Ashe Kalista, push him away. It's Jace. You don't typically see Jace paired alongside Nidalee, because you don't have that guaranteed lockup. Jax I really would love to see combined with Nidalee. It just is such a potent combo. And there you go. It's locked in. So, now here's the interesting thing. Is it Jax mid? Jax top? Because Jace can be flexed. I think Jax really can be flexed between mid and top, but it's more than likely going top. Rumble. I mean, I'm intrigued by this comp that BLG have. It's a heavy damage comp. Bit of bulk on top side, but you're very squishy if caught. And to be honest, the pick potential that GenG have is also incredibly insane. You think, if an Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands, what is going to be dropped on your heads? Well, you've got the QW from Hui. You've got Equalizer. You've got so much actual burst, to be honest, from this lineup that GenG have. Like Dawning Shadow as well. Wait, no, that's BLG side. Yeah, there's so much burst on GenG's side that if a target gets hit by an Ashe Arrow, if they're not the Lee Sin... Sorry, if it's not the Jax or the TK, realistically speaking, they're being 100 to 0'd pretty quick. Anyway, shall we get into game? As BLG need to win this to stay in the series. Chengdu really want them to stay alive. I will also want them to stay alive because I wish that there was a 5-game series. Take a look at the runes. Double Hail of Blades bot lane for GenG. There's Conqueror. Chosen for this Nidalee. So, the longer fights are the aim of the game for Shun in this one. Obviously known for his Nidalee as one of the most, probably one of the more well-known Nidalee players. I think Yankos is infamous for the pick in Europe because of missing spears. That's kind of how he's been known for it. But Shun's kind of known for being very accurate with them. Same with Ona, and I think Canyon from time to time has played this Nidalee. Anyway, let's take a look at this mid lane matchup. I kind of want to talk about it as Lane swaps happened. We kind of expect it. There's not really much to talk about them now. Mid lane, I kind of want to look at. I'm interested by Hui versus Jace. It's not something you see too often. Hui, I think, post 2 will have wave push. Jace's level 1 push is pretty good. Hui, not the strongest, don't forget, in terms of early game damage. He needs to hit multiple spells to really have an effect. And to set them up, you do need your E more than anything to do that. So, as a whole, you're probably looking for that into that. So basically, that double combo to get the most out of your kit. He is a very mana intensive champion, so Chovy can't really be dropping them too often. Now, here's the fun thing about lane swaps. Junglers tend to just full clear or join up with their champions that are getting the benefit of the push. As here, both of them went full clear, getting their first reset, and to be honest, nothing really out of the ordinary. This time the Karthus build is being utilized by the Italy. Actually, good work there by the TK to deny the back. As Rumble surprisingly didn't TP top. And it makes sense, because then there would have been the option for an overlap on the bot side with 3 members and forcing tower plates there. Yeah, I like that overall from Keen to not waste it, even if it does give over a slight CS advantage that will even out. What I'd say is it's beneficial that he didn't TP, because obviously Bin didn't have to. This means that if the play like this happens, he could show up on this tower. Will not do so because the fight's well and truly over. The Kalista falls. The kill goes over to the center. This is one of them games they actually give it over. On's not greedy. This does mean, however, topside, Keen secures push because he's not afraid of being ganked. BLG get first blood. And this is actually the first game in the series where there hasn't been an early play onto Chovy by Bin, where he loses his flash. So the Hui's kind of been pretty free. Just taking his first back. Got his Moby boots. Sorry. Ionian boots of lucidity. Pretty chill item. As this Hui free farming. Drake secured early before the grub spawn. Just trying to look at the minimap, but because I was trying to see if the Nidalee's gone up towards grubs. She hasn't, but she is now, because Senna started them up. The Hawkshot's going to spot these being taken. And with Canyon staying bot side, GenG aren't contesting this. So, first grub weight set over to BLG. A lot of souls being picked up here by the center. 22 secured. 6 minutes in is pretty nice, to be honest. On pace for 80 souls at 20 minutes. I think that is the typical norm, or a good place to be. At 20 minutes. 60's normally what you see, but 80's good. Anyway, red buff stolen away. Canyon obviously punishing the fact that Italy was topside, taking grubs. He knew the timing to take the back and everything, so he gets to steal away that camp as Chovy doing damage. Has got access to spiraling despair now. And the possibilities of a kick flash kick into Jace is there. He jumps forward. That puts him in a bit of a situation where he could be bursted out. Spiraling despair used, but Nidalee tops up his health bar. And that is a lot of damage as another meteor strike lands onto this Jace's head. Nidalee gives him a little heal up again. If Nidalee didn't give a first heal, Knight would have been dead. Wave's gonna crash in mid. Off low health bar as that equalizer kind of sucked. The flash out from the rumble, looking to chase down the overheat comes through, and the kill gets secured by Canyon. That's a good kill for GenG, giving the rumble advantage in lane. He started fall behind in CS there, but it should self-right a little bit. The wave, I'm intrigued to see if it's being frozen. Oh, it can't be. Been TP'd back, so he's actually also baiting here. Shun trying to find a flank angle, trying to find the best way to land a spear. No one on GenG up on this top side of the map. So if Keen kind of goes aggressive, could be punished. Could result in his death. It won't though. Shun takes full reset. Needs to continue to stack up and get ahead of this Lee Sin, who is able to get a kill for himself, which is more than what this Nidalee has. But Nidalee obviously beneficial of assists with the Dark Seal. This bot side, this tower's getting chipped away at pretty quickly. GenG doing a lot of work on tower killing. As once more Shun's up here. They see the little rumble, but Keen's aware that he is unsafe. As Nidalee forced to run away, back to the bot side. Flash out from Ashe, realizing that Abyssal Voyage would have killed him as Senna, taken incredibly low, forced to run away, play distance, but here comes the follow-up. The Devour puts the Kalista in a situation where Nidalee can show up and look for kills. The Q out from Nidalee does a lot of work, but the damage from Elk secures the kill. Up comes Chovy, looking to secure the kills with the Spiraling Despair, but it isn't enough. As down falls both of GenG's bot lane. And Chovy, while he does show up, he's only there to clear the wave in the end. There's one Void Grub secured by GenG. Drake started up. The contest is going to come through. TP is being channeled and it's Chovy that's coming. The smite to secure it by BLG as a continual chase down. The cleanse is going to be utilized here as the center taken incredibly low. The kick through is going to catch out this Jace, but the trade from this Nidalee kills off Canyon. The drop downs of the meteors not going to kill off the center just yet, who's getting to heal up with the piercing light. Down goes that Eye of Sauron to try and pin in Elk, who's just stutter stepping, staying alive. But this tower isn't staying alive, as that's the gain from the play for GenG. They trade 1-for-1, but they come out on top with the tower. And they're also going to get the equalization of Void Grubs. So, in the end, objectives stay even. As this play was where the trade back comes through. It's a good flash out from Elk to stay alive. Then the repositioning to still stay involved. Landing the W to keep GenG around. And it buys enough time for Shun to show up. While this looked like it was going to be another kill, or a trade kill, back for Chovy, it's a massive Dawning Shadow to keep the TK alive. And now, I'm just intrigued, how does it spear the burst combo from Canyon onto Canyon? Just didn't look like it was enough in terms of what was actually thrown towards him. But clearly it was. There's GenG losing a member. But kind of even out the objectives, all things considered. Staying the same in that front. As this time, they're collapsing. The Callista's here, the Fate's Call's channeled. And in goes the Ash. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow from short range is used. But it doesn't provide enough stun time to get the most out of it. TK is on the flank as the Abyssal Voyage gets onto the Ash. Rumble is burnt alive. And the chase is continuing. The Tongue Lash slowing. And Callista falls on top of it. It's a double kill to Shun's Nidalee as he's getting on the board and getting aggressive. He's got a Lichbane for himself. 4-0-3. I was querying this the other day. Why do Nidalees build Lichbane first? And then you realize Cougar Form Q is typically utilized after a W. Because you jump in and Q him. So you get the empowered auto on your Q, which classes as an auto, which is kind of nice. And as a whole, just really impactful for getting these picks. As there you go, you see it right there. Pretty much all the Rumble health bar getting deleted. And this pick, or this fight, as a whole, it's just BLG collapsing quicker. Chovy didn't show up. Neither did Canyon. And so 3 members versus, I think it was 5. BLG just get involved quicker. TP used to get up to the tower. Honestly, they delayed that TP reaction with the vision switch there. The observer's a little slow. Didn't really see what they were trying to make a play onto more than anything. But Knight on the board, going to be able to help join up with his team. Pretty sure Herald was secured by GenG, so they get 3 grubs and Herald. BLG got the kills, so that's what Canyon was actually doing. As GenG tried to make a collapsing play. BLG gonna continue to play as TP is gonna be used. On the bottom side, we're finally getting to see Jackson a bit of action. Counter-Strike can be used as Rumble ticking away. But on the flank, it's gonna be Pays. Counter-Strike Flash, gonna secure the kill, but Bin gets traded back. It's a 1-for-1. Bin outplays, to be fair, to get the kill. GenG gonna possibly get a bit more. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands. Spiraling Despair also used as this TK unable to jump away, being ticked away at with the damage from this way, who just doesn't have enough damage in the back pocket just yet. Only stacking up a theme, trying to build up into a Archangel's staff. Now the poke, though, from the Hui, though, is starting to stick a little more. Sarah's Embrace, that's what it's called. Hawkshot not going to tag up the Jacer, kind of surprising. As we're in that stage of the game where we're just waiting for objectives, I think it's important to talk about how these two teams play around them set objectives. Typically speaking, GenG are wanting to set up first because they have the peel options with the Callista Ash. They've got the poke and pick off potential with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, plus then the Hui damage from range. Typically speaking, you can then drop an equalizer on them. Lee Sin can jump on them. It's a lot of skill shot based attacks from GenG. But if they set up and funnel members towards them, it actually becomes quite easy to land them skills and then get the objective. Now, Canyon still has Rift Herald, and he's been unable to drop it because the waves haven't been in a good enough position to go for any form of play, as half of Lehenz's health bar just delivered in a spear. And that wasn't even a full range spear, as finally the Herald is going to be dropped. Lee Sin's piloting it as the Enchanted Crystal Arrow will land, gets the cleanse out from the center. The charge through, gonna land onto the tier 1. It's just a lot of chunk damage down, but BLG are responding. They're stepping up in their own right, and GenG is scattered. BLG could honestly stick mid and get it. However, what will be the responsive play from GenG? Not really much. They're kind of seeding it. The tower being hit up. Don't forget, these Void Grubs aren't a thing in this one. It's just the stacks of damage, the tick damage onto towers that both teams have. But it inevitably results in the mid lane tier 1 falling. Top lane tier 2 also getting chunked at by BLG. GenG unable to kind of defend the base. And that's kind of surprising with some of the champions they got. Hui, Rumble also, very good wave clearers. Ashe does well in waves. Callista, a few items in the back pocket, does well as well. And yeah, wave being deleted to the minions. Sorry, to the tower. There's Lee Sin showing up mid. Canyon trying to secure push, so Chovy can show up in this tier 1 in the bot side. Mid wave also quite low for BLG's. Yarosoran gonna be dropped. There's Chovy and the rest of GenG trying to step up, trying to secure this tower. They're also trying to secure vision around this Baron. And you look at this, 2 wards keeping Pays in their sights. BLG are trying to maintain control of this rift. 25 seconds until soul point for GenG if they want it. But with the bot lane both in the top side, they're kind of giving it up. I say bot lane. It's the Ashe and the Hui. Enchanted Crystal Arrow's thrown out. It will tag up. This Nidalee taking a tower shot. The Devour forced out. And now BLG on the retreat. Meteor Strike being dropped down by this Hui, as the damage being pinged across this dash forward from the Lee Sin as Chovy forces the flash away. They get the pick onto one as the TK can't go forward anymore. Now looking to get the Jace, getting his flash out. Yash trying to slow him down. The threaded volley gonna miss out. And GenG win out a fight. But they're being choked into a point. There's TP wards available. And Bin is on the flank. The Jax is hungry. And so is this Jace. They're looking for the picks. As in the mid lane, they've jumped onto the center. And the shutdown comes through. Pays is being paid. But so will that Nidalee. The spear lands and it secures the life of this Ashe. Continuing forward, the Rumble going to be able to get away as all points secured by GenG. But two members remain around here and TK is hunting. A massive kick lands, but it is not enough. The Nidalee is still alive. And Jay with the jungler down on GenG's side. This could be the demise that BLG wanted. The spiraling display does absolutely nothing as Keen's caught out and Elk's gonna be paid here. You kind of feel he looks for the trade, looks for the fight back. The Leandri's proc, not enough. That equalizer dropped incredibly late, to be honest. Surprised it actually came out. But BLG pretty much ace GenG off the rift. They're gonna get the Baron off the back of that one. No jungle means no smite, means Baron secured for BLG. And now, for the first time in this series, apart from that shaky Mbit from GenG, BLG have a lead. And they're looking for more. Lee Sin caught out. Gonna be chunked. Chovy responding to the top push. Can't get this cannon. The Fisher not doing enough damage. He needs to land a Q. But one more auto secures the top lane tier 2. The Eye of Sauron doesn't kill minions, Chovy. One thing that does is this gosh darn TK is behind in CS compared to the bot lane, but he's still so goddamn tanky. There's another big snare from the center land. Oh no. Little slowdown. Don't like that. What I do like is game-winning fights. Please give me one. Gimme some wins.
Game on, shall we?
As we're stepping forward. It's contesting around this pit. BLG on the front foot. Baron gonna time out in a minute's time. So they're actually backing quicker, resetting faster. As, to be honest, Keen's doing a good job to secure a tower. And we actually get a replay around this Drake pit. Fate Skull used to isolate off the center and they get the pig, but it's like... But it's then just re-engage. It's so much. Rumble already incredibly low, gets isolated off. Then it's a 3v2. The poke and the harass that BLG have here, just too much. I'm actually intrigued to see. I'm actually going to reverse it. Uno reverse. I want to see something here. So, give me a sec. He goes in. The kick. I'm intrigued. Sorry. This is really intriguing to me. How he doesn't actually get the kill on in Italy. So, the Q's on him. He goes in. He's slowed by the TK. But, like, kick flash, auto, E. There's no W. You can delete it by presumably the Nidalee Q? Lichbane? Yeah, that sounds like the most sense in that situation, but to be honest, it really probably was just an outplay more than anything. Teamfight damage in that last fight. Jax really didn't have an impact, to be honest. But he's still not really been involved in this game, to be honest, Ben. We haven't had to discuss how he's been playing at all. We've mainly had focus on the Rumble in that matchup. But hey, it is what it is. Jace already starting to delete health bars. Chovy's succumbing to the damage. I think another one just hit. And that's popped the Saras Embrace. It did. Saras is down for a Chovy. Thanks to Jace's Shock Blast. Dawning Shadow almost gets a kill. His Lahen's forced to retreat. Wei can't stay around now. And neither can the rest of GenG in that bot side. BLG secured a tower. And we're at that stage of the game where it's a living artillery. Shot after shot from BLG. Kind of just bullies BLG off the map. Soul on the table right now. A shot blast lands. And so does a bit of poke onto Lahen's. It's the dawning. The cues from the then do a lot of work as another spiraling despair lands onto TK, but he's able to just walk it off. He's so incredibly tanky now. And BLG force GenG back. They stop the Drake stack. And honestly, we're in that stage of a game that is so BLG. They're not forcing. They're taking when they can. And then just not giving GenG avenues to get the fight they want. And it's incredibly skillful how they do this. Also, I'm intrigued by this Rumble build as the pick off comes through. Pays gets the kill onto Bin. And now they're looking for more as the TK. Gonna be run down. My stream has frozen. They get the pick off onto Jace. And the TK. GenG win out the fight. Baron up in 16 seconds. They're looking for more. As they're pushing forward. And so I'm actually just watching the stream on my screen, and that freeze I see didn't happen. Okay. Spiraling Despair. Dawning Shadow to try and keep this center alive. We'll be able to do so. Just looking at Trophy's build, he doesn't really have that much in terms of damage just yet. There's no like full burst item. I think Horizon Focus is the most burst item he has. But it's not enough. No like Leandries to do ticking damage with that Spiraling Despair. Asharo gonna go wide. We're into the mid lane, and this is where BLG's comp gets a shine. The poke and harass. They can just throw him at GenG and push him back. BLG. No, the Baron's on the table. Win the next fight. Get the game. That's the aim of this one. But they're not forcing. It's important that they're not forcing. They're just poking. Trying to chip away at the health bars. hit the spells, push them back, get the Drake and the Baron for free. Another arrow goes, a spear goes wide. As the flank has been set up. Possible dive onto the backside for Canyon. Unspotted. He's finally going to show himself. The Ash Arrow is going to land onto TK as the Equalizer going to be used. On the backside goes Bin, but he's away from the rest of his team. Spiraling Despair going to be channeled, and it's not going to do too much as half the health bar of this Jax is gone. Devour is going to be utilized as TK next to be chipped away at. The threaded volley slowing down BLG, who are now on the wrong side of the map, but they're being healed up by the center. And to be honest, they've still got access to most of their ultis. BLG could contest this, as GenG utilized quite a bit. Just healing up with the Qs. The center doing work. As the damage down onto Lehens, forced to flash away, in goes the TK, but he is going to fall immediately. Stepping forward, BLG, as they're looking to get a kill. The Rumble isolates himself and is away from the remaining 3 members of GenG. Jace just corralling them. Doesn't need to go in, as he goes in and gets the kill because Nidalee is here. GenG losing 2 more members, and that's in front of the Baron. No jungler for GenG yet again. This objective could be taken, but that was close to being another kill. Had the Edge of Night not spawned for the Ashe or Kalista, 1 or 2. So this fight. Yeah. Shock Blast, baby. Down goes pretty much on. He gets traded when Knight shows up. TK goes in a little bit too aggressive as another Spiraling Despair gets thrown wide by Chovy. And this is just Knight corralling alongside the rest of his team. When a target tries to step up into him, he can eat them back in his hammer form. Plus, the damage he does is so incredibly high that poking and just harassing anyone on GenG as they step up. That spear steal from Shun was pretty nice. Ash Arrow through as they look to kill off the CK, but the shields and the healing from this Nidalee keeping him alive. Somehow they've managed to kill him off with the Equalizer, and now they're looking to get another as down goes Knight. GenG finding the picks. The spear gonna go wide. The Soul is on the table yet again. Will they be able to secure it for themselves? They're starting it up. Nidalee forced to run away. That's going to be Ocean Soul secured by GenG. BLG now have Baron for themselves, but it's into Ocean Soul. So this makes fighting even harder for BLG because, to be honest, the Ash Arrows, not the Ash Arrows, the Nidalee spears and the Jace poke can be healed up over time. As this here, Knight just isolates himself. Chovy gets the fear, sets up for the Kalista to secure the double. And that gold plus from the Baron, so goddamn low that BLG kind of wasted it. They had to try and fight for Soul, but it's to no avail. And GenG get it. They're stepping forward and they're looking to push for the win. Now, honestly, I'm actually surprised this Baron push is still happening, as the flank set up by Lee Sin gets the kick. Spiraling Despair goes wide, and now Lee Sin's isolated himself. The center tipping, chickling away at the health bar, Dawning Shadow over the top to keep the TK alive. And the shielding and healing onto him from the rest of the team is just so big for BLG to keep that sub tank support alive is so good. And I'm just looking at the build that On has opted into. Frozen Heart for the double ADC bot lane. And technically the Rumble when he overheats. Hollow Radiance to kind of deal with the Hui and the Rumble who immediately burst him out when he goes forward. I'm presuming he's going Jack Shao third. It would make the most sense. Because he is trying to be frontline and engage. But to be honest, GenG, I'm looking at their builds. And it's like, no one's really got anything to stop the healing that's being done. This Nidalee heal is becoming very hard to deal with. The Senna healing is very powerful. This isn't something you hear too much as an item anymore, but Serpent's Fang, I'm looking at it and thinking TK shield can be shredded. You've then got the Dawning Shadow shield can be shredded. Quite a few of these shields and healing can kind of be negated by certain items. And finally Ashe is building anti-heal. So someone's actually realizing the issue. And it's Lahent. Because the sustain that I just saw it there, Nidalee just did. Ashe are going to be used onto Knight. Gets the Devour. Spear thrown out. Shock Blast going to go wide. I saw on lands. Equalizer going to be popped, but a heal keeping Knight alive. Abyssal Voyage comes through and they've isolated the TK, but he goes to the wall and Lee Sin tries to follow, but it is not enough. Knight jumps forward and he isolates himself in front of the 5 members, but the health bars of GenG being chipped away at. BLG slowly but surely winning out the fight. Recall's being forced out of BLG right now, and it's the GenG, sorry, it's the Lee Sin that's gone back to base, and that is quite huge, as he's kind of the guy that you need to keep around here. He's able to rejoin up with his team, and so no objective can be started. We've got Elder up in a minute 30, or minute 13, but Baron's on the table right now. GenG trying to corral in BLG, trying to get a pick. A massive Shock Blast lands onto Lahend. Also heal up as the poke is being put down onto TK. Equalizer's dropped. They're deleting this Tom Kench. He's gone without a fight, but the pick back comes through as the Rumble falls. Flashing forward goes Bin as the counter strike is massive. They kill off Chovy, but on the backside it's going to be Elk falling, but he does not die in vain, as it's a double kill to this Jax that's been quiet all game. And now Knight gets to feast as he's hunting for Pays, jumping forward. The autos can come through. The shutdown secures the fight win for BLG, and they're TPing for the end as they go towards the top side of the map. They don't need Elder. Who cares about Baron? When Knight is alive, he's able to delete things. The Shock Blasts have been massive. The Spears, to be honest, also massive. And this game went late, and the poke just hits different. BLG make this a series, taking us to Game 4. So somehow during all of that, I managed to hit my recording button. So that's why you're seeing a bit of a frame drop. Don't know why I managed to do that. How? But yeah. Hopefully now that's a little better. As there we go. I was just trying to sort my brightness. It's a bit dark, you know. Let me up it a little bit. There we go. Feels weird that we're still streaming. It's 9 o'clock. But I promise you the full finals breakdown. You're getting a full finals breakdown. Game 4 time. I'm tired beyond belief, by the way. And I've got work tomorrow. But hey, I'm not complaining. I've actually enjoyed today's stream. It's been certainly an interesting series. And what is Kobe eating in this situation? He's trying to hide it as well, as he stood there. So, Game 4. Draft preferentiation becomes a big factor. Presumably, GenG head back to blue. Yes. Tiliarari. These look exactly the same as game number 1, and 2, and 3. Lucian removed. Trist. Are we removing all 3? ADCs. Senna. I'm already putting it in. Senna. Callista. Cassante. Okay. Slightly annoyed I am dropping frames randomly. So Senna comes through, the response is what? Nautilus. So that's actually made it through. Nautilus Nidalee. So you've actually got a really potent combo there. Obviously, we just saw it in game number 3. The Nidalee poke and RS very strong. It also gives you agency to AD top and mid. The response from GenG's Maokai. So that's a flex between support and jungle. I like it. You can now look at mid, personally, as a pick, and leave your jungle, or go jungle now. Remove the flex of the Maokai. So you enter ban phase 2, where you can target out mid laners even more, or we get a continuation of game number 3's draft of Jace alongside Nidalee for the poke. I wouldn't like it, obviously, as a blind pick, so we won't get that. Instead, we get the Tristana. So the Siege meta-hungry champion gets to be played. Hui removed off the board by BLG. And I'm going to be honest, it makes a lot of sense. While Chovy wasn't able to do too much damage in the last game, it's still a pick that can affect the map and deny what the Triss wants to do. When she jumps forward, you press EQ and she gets feared and she dies. So there's the reason why you ban Hui. Callista's removed. It's surprising to see BLG not pick ADC until phase 2. And I mean, Trist, while can be flexed to the bot side, I don't necessarily see it as a strong one. GenG could honestly ban Varus here. Double ban the GenG bot lane in phase 2. But clearly Elk has something in his wheelhouse he wants to play. Draven. This is a Draven angle. I mean, it's very hard to play into Maokai, but I could see it. Zeri. Okay. Okay. I mean, it's double ADCs. Presumably with like a Jax top lane. GenG probably are aware that it's going to be like a Jax or a Bruiser top laner. So Rumble makes sense. You can burn through the health bar quite quickly and effectively without really giving up too much of your own. Last pick for Chovy. Azir screams out to me. It's one of his premier picks. And yeah, it's hovered and locked in. Triss wants to siege and secure towers. Why not give her more towers to siege? Azir is, I'd say, pretty good into the Triss matchup. Because when she tries to jump forward, you just scooch her back. I think we covered this matchup with G2 and T1. Faker caps. And we discussed how Faker could outplay it with the Azir. And I think he did more than anything. Anyway, drafts are rounded out. Camille for Bin. I'm slightly surprised it's not the Jax again. But he didn't really have much of an impact on that in game number 3. It still, though, provided agency and teamfight in locking down targets and buying time for the team to throw out poke. So the fact that it isn't locked in and it's got the Camille. Ooh, the lockdown's there with the Camille, with the Hextech Ultimatum. But you've also got this guy to lock down people for the Zeri and the Nidalee to land damage. Because bear in mind, this could have been, personally speaking, Sejuani jungle or tankier top for BLG, and I've been happy. To be honest, I'm not happy that it's Camille. I understand why. It's one of Bin's signature picks, but to be honest, a tank would have been more beneficial in this situation, as you can sustain through the matchup against a Rumble, who, to be honest, will always have control, I think. But it comes to late game fighting. Who's protecting the Trist and the Zeri and the Nidalee when Nautilus goes forward? It's no one. So when the Lee Sin, the Azir, the Maokai go hunting your backline, it's a very difficult situation for BLG to play through. Look at it, ruined Hellblade, Azir, not Comet. So more so the trading esque one, no lethal tempo either. So Tovi kind of just looking for the quick burst trades more than anything to kind of deal with the Triss up front Q harass. So I like that, to be honest. Not even got his own fleet footwork, so Kind of surprising, to be honest, actually, to see Hellblades. You don't see it too often. Anyway. Lane swap McGee happens here. Bin just walks forward. He's trying to suck up some XP. But you're stepping really close to this BLG bot lane. He is susceptible. They're not going to hit level 2 just yet. So, no kill threat. As... Yikes. Knight tries to make the play. The rocket jump to safety. As Keen shows up. I'm kind of surprised how low Bin kind of just went in the bot lane. Because he has actually been forced to reset. And I mean, it is a defensive reset, as obviously the play was coming as Lee Sin bullied out his own jungle. As his rest of his team just controlling the bot lane. Bin still being continued to be bullied away. And this is kind of the polar opposite of what you'd expect. Keen's bullying away the Camille with the rest of his team, while soaking up turret plates, as well as just setting up control for the lane and protection. Meanwhile, Bin's really getting nothing as Chovy forced the flash. I'm pretty sure On hit the wall, but Chovy flashed in safety. TP top from the Maokai. So this is actually interesting. This is essentially setting up to be a tower dive, but the TP can come through here from Keen for response. Not going to do so just yet, as it's a failed dive. On dies. And this Maokai's a farming Maokai, so he gets to stay in it. Now, this is so insane, the power of Senna. Because Maokai farms, regardless, Keen now gets to farm a bit. And the tower damage has already been done. This is such a perfect start for GenG. It's essentially, it's obviously tower dive season. On takes aggro, but Twisted Advance plus Bramble Smash equals death under tower. No escape for anyone who tries to kill the Maokai in the early game. So, realistically speaking, GenG playing the map movement game pretty well. To be honest, if the kill went over to BLG, like they actually secured it, I would have said that it was a misplay to TP the Maokai up early. But it works out for them. And I don't need to criticize that sort of play, because it works out even though I would criticize it normally. Back on mid, rocket jump available. Not going to be used here, Knight. Stepping back forward. Sees Chovy struggling with one minion. As the wave stacked up bot side, going to result in a Drake start for Nidalee. Shun going to look to secure a Cloud Drake. Hoping for Chemtech Drake next, so that a more beneficial soul's on the table. Grubs haven't been started yet, but I'm watching Lee Sin. He's pathing his way over. With the Drake taken. He may have gone for it, but Bin's pathing. Oh, Bin. Nidalee and Tris pathing over. It's objective into objective for BLG. Mid push grants access to this play. Grubby's being secured by Shun. To be honest, I'm kind of surprised that this has happened. Lee Sin a little bit slower to the play, as I'm starting to get a bit more comfortable. Shall we say? It's getting late. I need to care less. There we go. I'm spinning around to get comfort. Mid, Shun holding the wave for Knight. Pretty nice. Stock standard sort of play, if you think about it. As the mid laner gets to soak up some more XP off the back of that. And to be honest, with how things are going right now, game a lot slower than game number 2, but the tempo isn't really being extended by either team. It's just being maintained. Like, pretty sure sooner rather than later, GenG will get the bot lane tier 1. In fact, Zeri is roaming down, but the wave's slow pushing. So they're stacking it up, ready to possibly dive it. I'm just looking where Lee Sin is. He's pathing top side. Provide a bit of safety to the Rumble, who is hard pushing wave. Tower's gonna start to be killed off as Zeri pops the ulti. Trying to get the lightning crash damage down. The equalizer's dropped. Been chunked heavily. And this is gonna be turret plates into this Senna. Gonna use the Q to deny the back again. Bin not able to get back to base. And instead he just picks up the wave. And we're sitting right now 1k gold lead over to GenG. Just amounted from a kill and then lane control in the bot side of the map. That's resulted in this guy taking shed loads of damage. I'm going to be intrigued in 5 minutes time to see the actual plate damage that's been done. How many plates that GenG have secured, because I'm pretty sure Pays has been paid this game by these towers. Interesting enough, he's sat on 29 souls. It looks like 23 actually. Is it 29? Such a small number. But what's a small number is a one-man team against 3. As Rumble ran down, Keen falls to Shun. And this is looking like the Nidalee becoming a major threat once more. This time, the counterplay on the other side of the map can come through. The lightning crash used to clear the wave. No Zeri ult now. And they're keeping this tier 1 alive. But BLG running away. Know that more members of GenG are down here on the collapse. As Chovy goes missing. They finally step back up. Realizing there's a bit more safety. But it's going to be a couple of autos needed to kill the tower. As the minions still doing work. They're not gonna continue to overstay their welcome. Instead, maybe transitioning the pressure mid. They see Knight. And yeah. Step up in mid. Relieve the Azir to go back to base. Lee Sin's gonna start his camp, as the bot lane is obviously mid. Makes it so that these grubs could be started up and controlled without any real contest. I'm keeping my eyes on the Nidalee, but she isn't here. In fact, it's the BLG bot lane that I see just hovering, waiting. The Maokai gonna spot the mount with the sapling toss. As, yet again, it's 3 grubs to 3. I'm just looking to see what the other thing is that's being picked up. It is the Drake started up by BLG. It's going to be the Nature's Grasp thrown out as the entire BLG bot lane incredibly low. Jumping forward goes the Maokai, securing the double kill. TPs from BLG into this top lane. Trying to force the replay as they're keeping their towers alive. BLG investing quite a lot to keep them all alive. But this is coming at a cost. Kills over to GenG. And it is getting pretty hefty. As we get to watch this play again. Simple as you like. The equalizer slow. Gets the dash from the Zeri. So Nature's Grasp and the Dawning Shadow. There's no real escape tools from these big bursting abilities. So they get the mass damage down. Allowing for the Maokai to continue to chase and get the kill. Lehens happy to be receiving all these kills. 3 kills. And compared to last game where I was talking about On stealing kills on the Ashe, doesn't really matter. This guy isn't the support. He is a fully fledged tank. That if you look at the comp that BLG have, I'm pretty sure you want your Engage to be able to survive the upfront damage, as shouldn't be killed off here. He gets the heal off the Nidalee E, but he was run down there as it's a shutdown over to Keen. It's a 1-for-1 trade. As it's jungler for top. And all that remains is a jungler and a top laner, but the Senna showing up. Bin looking. He's still around. This tower incredibly low. They're aware that there could be a play, and in goes the Camille. The kick through isolates off this Camille, but she's still fighting back. Lee Sin's incredibly low, and Senna's isolating herself. Bin gets the kill, and he's looking for more as Lee Sin's gonna be isolated. But no, nothing more happens. Bin gets away to safety with the Nautilus showing up. Somehow, Bin outplays them as it's a tower trade. There's the plating, 8-5 in GenG's favor. The mid lane tier 1 falls for the bot lane tier 1 first turret, as well as a kill for Bin onto the Senna. And they're looking for more. BLG. Lightning Crash used. The Maokai, the target. The tower shots stacking up. Spear goes wide. There's GenG dodge it. And a Lightning Crash utilized there to get a bit of damage down. But that's all it is. Bit of damage. Good steal on the blue buff for Shun. As the top side of the map becomes BLG's. They're starting up this Herald, and BLG will secure it. There's no real contest, and we get to watch this play again. Good flash to avoid Bin's initial play, but the kick puts the Senna right in front of this Camille. Maokai is in a position where he can't really protect, and when he does get there, the Q's not in the most opportune time to cancel the hookshot off the wall. You need to do it when the Camille's on the second half of that. You need to hit the Q. So, probably never would have hit, because there's no real position he does that. Did have flash, some maybe, but nah. Not going to invest it. Or it may have been on cooldown. I'm not entirely sure. Either way, BLG get tower and a kill off of the back of that play. That if we look at what's happening in the top lane, Bin only a slight gold lead, 200 gold over his opposition, who's got a dark seal and is stacking it up. It's fairly even overall in that top lane. Want anything? Trinity Force compared to the Leandries, and that's essentially that. Rest of the lanes are pretty similar. It's intriguing Chovy's build Nash's Tooth with the Hail of Blades. Certainly looking to stack up damage as Bin goes in. The Lee Sin and Maokai going to be isolated as the Hexacle Ultimatum's going to be channeled. The Equalizers into that choke point, and it's doing so much work as GenG trade 1-for-1. It's going to be support for support, and that's going to result in the Drake start. Zeri chunked, Bin chunked. Lee Sin was chunked, but he can heal off this objective. They will start this up. Infernal Dragon, or Infernal Soul I should say, is what these two teams are playing for. So a lot of Cinders on the Rift, as the mid lane tier 1 trade finally going to come through. Maokai TPing in to secure that. His air tower going to be dropped as well, so BLG going to be under pressure mid for a bit. Spin trades the tower back in the top lane, so we're matching turret for turret. So expect maybe GenG to pivot topside for a play, as this engage gets matched by the Maokai. Hexacle Ultimatum is big to trap the Maokai, who just flashes to buy a bit more time, but Triss is there free firing. Nautilus goes in and dies to the Rumble. It's not really that much of a fight, it's just a little flurry where the supports sack to get their teams out. That's the easy way of explaining that one. I thought for a second there was an Ashe arrow, but Ashe is not in this game. Triss sieging. All outers secured for BLG. As the trades continue to happen. Chovy's going to probably secure this top lane tier 1. I'm looking for TP opportunities on screen. There isn't any. In fact, there's very minimal options for a TP flank for GenG. Just going to have to allow that push with the Herald to come through, which did result in the tier 2 falling. BLG take control of the gold. And it's coming through these towers, because they're not directly winning all the fights just yet. They do need to reach a couple of item breaking points for this Zeri for that to really happen, who I think's building IE with the BF Sword and Warfield's Core Hammer. So maybe getting a bit more damage. I'm not entirely sure. That's not what you build IE with. I think Core Hammer is just an all-round really good item, so that's why you see people build it, but it's a transitional build. I'm used to seeing Hurricane second, as Baron is on the table finally. And GenG could flip it. The pit is a little bit harder to get into this time, with quite a few body blockers for GenG. Can just stand in front. Just taking a look at the vision and how little there is for BLG around it. A blue trinket's going to be used here as they catch out one member on falls. Do GenG turn to the objective? Indeed they do. The Lee Sin starts it up. There's no vision around here for BLG. Where is Shun? He is in a position. He's on a ward, clearing it out. TP going to be used here. It's going to be the Rumble joining up with the team, as well as that Camille joining up with hers. The equalizer's dropped. Shun is hopping around, still in a position to possibly contest. The spear goes in, tagging up the Baron to see the objective, but the fight is kicking off. Lee Sin jumps in, and Bin is killed off. Knight on the wrong side of the map, and he is being run down by the Maokai. Twisted Advance gets on top of him, as well as the Sonic Wave from the Lee Sin shuts down Knight. Rumble on the front line, burning through the health bar of this Nautilus. Tick, tick, down goes No. Finally. I called it a bit too early. Baron should be free for BLG. Shun is in mid. He can't step forward. Picking up cinders. He's trying to get close. But no. Baron secured by GenG. Winning out the fight. And getting the objective. Simply put, keep your eyes on the rumble. Marking Shun. And isolating off the Zeri. Don't really see that. So Zeri's in a position where she can't really fight. A kick through gets buffered pretty nicely from the Trist, but it still secures a kill onto Bin. Then Trist is on the wrong side of the map, isolated off, and gets the damage down. Lee Sin secures it, and now it's the turnaround to the other members. Rumble burns through Nautilus's health bar as Shun tries to do damage, but just doesn't have enough, like, guaranteed damage. The spear is massive in terms of damage, but it's not guaranteed. And instead, he's unable to really impact that fight the way he would like to. And in the end, GenG come out with the Baron. So, 23 minutes in. Game number 4 has a 2k gold lead for GenG. They've got a couple of outer towers still left to take, the tier 2s in particular, to try and get the standing gold. Is the Baron not really that big just yet? The waves weren't in a good enough position to kind of force anything. As you see the gold graph right now, kind of up and downy. As night shows on the map the east top side. The tier 2 gonna start being sieged. The cannon minion, obviously the potent thing, is the nature's grabs are thrown out. The equalizer on top of it. On is ticking, burning, down and caught out as GenG get the tower and get the support. Now they're looking for this inhibitor tower. The cannon set up, starting to chip away. The inhibitor turret will fall. The demolished proc gonna secure it as bot side Bin getting damage down onto this inhibitor tower himself. The base of BLG being threatened. The Nexus tower taking damage. But GenG back it up. Azir tower dropped to deny any more continuation of a chase from BLG. Get the resets through. And Knight just gonna siege. Content to do damage has been. Ran away. Obviously saw that Keen came back to base to protect it. But this is what BLG kind of need to do. They need to play the siege system to keep GenG in check. To not allow them to continue their sieges into the base. Lee Sin steps onto the wall and gets hooked and picked off. Shun secures a kill. No objectives to play for. Spear goes wide. And GenG trying to corral. Maokai goes forward. Not going to be hooked up here. On. Then tries to fire the hook because the TP's flank coming through for BLG. Senna going to walk away as Bin not going to go in. The TP comes through as Keen's hiding, looking for the pick. Keeping the charge up with the scrap shield. Bin steps too far forward. He's going to be picked off. The equalizer's dropped. The TP's coming through. And GenG, they've caught Bin once more in the side lane. The Azir secures the kill. And they can continue to push. There's a tier 2 down here that they want. There's a minute 45 until Baron. Minute 50. Or minute 30 to this Drake. Third Drake of the game if they get it. Sole point for either team. No matter whom gets it. On goes forward. Nature's grabs out from this Maokai. Just to push away BLG. Back to the mid lane, and the siege for GenG as Canyon just being an absolute menace. This game certainly is getting closer. Even though the gold is slightly larger in terms of the split coming off the Baron, the game feels close. And GenG certainly are pressing the attack. It's very, very hard for BLG to kind of step forward. And we discussed in game number 1 that BLG struggle to obviously force things, and if they do, it's typically been sitting in a side lane and getting caught out. GenG as a whole know how to punish this and secure objectives and force. It puts BLG on a timer, and it's harder for them to play the game. So right now, what we're starting to see is the setup for the Baron. It is spawning, and BLG aren't able to really do much. They've thankfully got a ward here that tells them if GenG are walking over to the objective, if they're starting it up. Luckily, they can see all 5 members, or 4, that matter on the map. Chovy will secure soul point for the team as the siege, the 2 members here, caught out of position, trying to secure Baron vision. So GenG secured themselves the mid tier 2. This is just quicker punches out from GenG. BLG aren't really able to respond to. TP out from Keen to deny Bin's push. And this is the thing that Bin's continuing to try to do, is get these pushes. A mass amount of damage put down onto Shun from the center. Pays is continuing to hurt, and he's stacking up still. As a massive racket is happening right now. I apologize for that. I'm trying to cope, but people just seem to shout for the sake of shouting. Yeehaw. Anyway, GenG getting to push forward. They're securing the vision around the pit. Nothing there. Darkness in that place for BLG. How will they contest this? It's incredibly hard to do so. Bin taking a reset. And this should be quite a big one. Gets his Starrick's Gate. So he can go in and have the shielding and survive an initial play. GenG are, however, on the front foot. They have the burst and the damage. Void Staff picked up for the Rumble, able to burn through a lot of these health bars. Knight trying to steal away the red buff there, unable to do so. As GenG wrestle back controller mid, walking up towards the Baron pit. Gonna clear out so much of this vision and make it so hard as they start this one up. BLG, can they contest? The Azir tower dropped in mid to stop the wave push. Now, what is BLG doing? Bin sitting bot side, trying to force the objective as a hook out. Maokai just body blocking the nature scratch to use, and Nidalee steals away the Baron. The kick delivers her to safety, but the base of GenG is being cracked open. Bin kills the inhibitor and gets out to safety. Baron secure for BLG, keeps this game going, and everyone erupted in the stadium. Woo! Look at I said that before it even came up in picture. It's an interesting steal. I'm actually surprised how it happened, because as a whole, Maokai gets hooked and he's not able to get in a position to stop this jump in. Straight in, gets booted out, and he gets over the wall to safety. So no execute onto Nidalee because of the kick. And to be honest, it's nuts how this Baron works out for BLG. 2k gold lead off, well, 2k gained off it already. They've not even been able to crack a objective open. Bin has been split pushing his life off in this game. Same to the last game on that Jags. He's just been a menace in the side lane that Keen's kind of given up marking so that he can be with his team to fight. And that's what GenG's strength has been in this game, is their team fight. So, now with a Baron, BLG looking to crack open some tier 2s. They already got the bot lane tier 2, and they're looking to get a bit more. Knight takes a hefty chunk of damage to the Azir, and the tier 2 on the top side takes a bit more. Spears being tossed out. We haven't really talked about Shun Spears landing, but he's hitting them. Gets the Edge of Night off of this Senna, and is just hiding in the fog of war, throwing him out, pushing GenG off this tower. And Zari's going to secure that one for the team. Going to back away. The Baron timing out in 30 seconds. So, the end of the push. The gold lead has been scraped ahead here now, BLG, off that tower take. And with soul point for them in 3 seconds, can the miracle steal for GenG happen here around this objective? Bin sitting off to one side, just gonna look for a push. The Senna marking him, and so is a Rumble. Hook shots back to safety. And now GenG seed pressure around this pit. Canyon jumps forward and forced to run back to his team. The objective started up. GenG have to give it up. Minions in the base. Bin threatening to get in there and push and possibly end the game. TP isn't there for Knight. However, it's soon going to be up. The base of GenG can be threatened. And I'm going to be honest, with an open Nexus, a couple of towers, one wave left unattended, the Trist and Camille can delete a tower. It's a potent combo at killing them. We already said that Trist is a sieging monster and she wants to keep killing towers. But it's hard to not say that she will delete them if left untouched. And Knight's looking for an angle. So is GenG to stop it. Just look at the ward line being set up. 1, 2, 3. This V to stop entrances here. Entrances here. And there is a ward down here to stop him getting all the way down the spot side for a sneaky play. So Bin can't get in and steal it or take any more objectives in the base. Instead, Knight's going off into side. He knows that the tier 2 and top's gone, so that tier 3 is susceptible to pressure. And you now look at this game from a different light. BLG are ahead. The Zeri is online. 4 items complete. And the Senna still scaling. Still a threat. 114 souls. Is attacking from a long range now. Building up the grievous wounds as Knight jumps. That could have been deadly. It's on cooldown. Doesn't even have GA. And now BLG just farming. 20 seconds until Baron yet again. And all of GenG grouping up. The flank is set up there. It's spotted by Keen. Been unable to get in. The Azir tower falls and the engage comes through into the backline. Goes to Lee Sin but is unable to get the pick. Dawning Shadow is going to be used and that's already a kill on falls. That's going to be the status popped out. And Senna just free firing in. A lot of damage being put down. Bin still hasn't been able to get in onto the backside just yet. Been forced away. So the only kill that goes through is on falling. Now the base of BLG could be threatened as the Baron will be started by GenG. TP's going to come in right in front of them and that's the Rumble burning away at the health bar of this Camille. GA's going to be popped and now Camille going to be forced to jump away. The Zeri somehow picks off this Senna, but the damage is so much. Lee Sin jumps into the backline. The kick is kind of bad, but the Azir is able to clear up as Triss jumps forward. GA popped out of this. Lee Sin still alive, but the re-engage could be a possibility. On is showing up. He's gonna show up. The Zeri ult secures the kill. Keen falls, and it's everyone but the Lee Sin down. And he's still being chased. Zeri is hunting. Not going to be able to secure it. She just safeguards her safety. And into the base goes Knight. Another inhibitor. Gonna be killed off. The Nexus towers in her sights. The damage from the explosive charge is a lot. The Senna showing up. Can she kill him before the tower falls? The tower is dead. But so is the Trist. And that's the siege monster gone, but with an open base. GenG need to fight for their lives. Wards in the base, protecting from Bin. Where can this Camille go? She is the main monster, but here's the thing. There's no flank wards. Nothing that can allow for the back door. Shun and the Lee Sin starting up this Baron together almost, but GenG group up. They brought 4 members to this one. Who's guarding the base? It's Keen. The Rumble is there. The sentry needed as into the base goes the Camille. An inhibitor in the sights. The base not going to be killed off just yet. TP in, and it's going to result in the Azir showing up to protect the team. On already has fallen in the fight, and in goes the Camille into the backside, but this Emperor's Divide kills off the Camille. She no longer has GA, so the base won't fall just yet. On the other side of things, Soul on the table. One team can get it. Shun jumping could fall. Dawning Shadow secures the kill. That's a dead jungler, and that should be Soul to GenG. BLG overplaying their hand, trying to force too hard, cannot do so. And with Soul secured, fighting becomes almost impossible for BLG. And that, to be honest, could spell their demise. Elk and Knight are hanging around, but look at this. Sentry Guard Chovy there. To be honest, you could have honestly have saw the Zeri and the Triss go for the back door. But it's like, well, Azir, I don't think had ult just yet. Could have honestly have just split up and gone in. But now it's so hard to play. Trailblazer for the Lee Sin. Don't normally see that. But he wants his leaders team into the fights, so fair enough. GA also picked up for the Senna. So team fighting gonna be really hard for BLG to do to get a carry. It's gonna be nigh on impossible. Baron minions in mid, just making this push really hard for BLG. They've managed to do so, but the base is coming through from GenG. Everyone goes back as soon as BLG steps forward. They realize the potency of a naked Nexus. So they back it up. Protect thy team. And you know, it's always important to note that as this game continues on, wards like this and this become really impactful for getting the back door. That being said, you look at the TPs available. Keen's always going to have his. So will Lens. So backdoor possibilities become really hard to do if GenG can match. Also, Chovy's TP is almost back up. Baron still up for another minute for GenG, so they're also trying to crack open the base. You've still got a couple of inhib towers to kill. In fact, all three. No, they've already got one, never mind, on top. So they need to crack open the base here, or force a fight. Just watching the minimap. The bottom wave now covers the minimap because their super minions constantly pushing. But GenG crack open the base. They get an inhibitor off the last drips of this Baron. On stepping forward, throw the hook, but Nature's Grass thrown out to protect and back out and disengage. GenG gonna be able to get to safety off the back of this, and Keen, he picks up the big wave in the bot side. It's getting tense. And these two teams, it's a do or die game for BLG. Do, and they make it to game 5. Lose, they die. And GenG become MSI champs. It's honestly very terrifying. And you kind of have to look at what Shun did. He basically gave over Soul for free to GenG because he tried to go for a backdoor. It wouldn't work out, my friend, because you ran straight in, no vision clearing, and gets caught out. Now GenG, firm control around both pits. Elder up in a minute 30 as the base of GenG now protected once more. All 3 inhibitors stand, and now the LCK squad can start to step out of their base a bit more. Bin has no TP wards, so there's nothing down here. And the only ward here is being cleared out. So GenG may get control back into this game, this tense game that BLG were on the verge of winning. Keen, what are you buying, my friend? What are you buying? What are you selling? What are you buying? Absolutely nothing. Just going to top up his health bar as you do. And it's a slow retreat back onto the map. Elder in 30 seconds. A Baron up in a minute. The Elder's gonna decide this game. And with vision sparsely scattered into this river for BLG, GenG starting to control it. The saplings providing so much area of control. And it just makes it harder for Shun to hide in the fog, to set up for the team. The Elder spawns. GenG started up. Keep your eyes on the Nidalee, off to one side, trying to get a flank, but this Elder buff taken incredibly quickly. Will it be secured? The bases, the TP's in from GenG, protecting their base from BLG. Bin ticking away. The Liandry's not going to proc the Elder buff. Instead, the Zeri port falls to the Lee Sin. The Maokai kills the Nidalee. The kills are going in GenG's favour, and they're keeping BLG out their base. There's a GA on this carry who gets spotted. It's been the Camille. Can't do much. And in fact, BLG gonna lose Knight. The base is in tatters. GenG will be your MSI champions as the LCK take the crown from the from the Spring Kings of the LPL. I fucked up the line. I don't care. It's been a long one. And this series as a whole saw a lot of prio to Senna. And I think as this tournament evolved on, Senna became such a priority pick. It defined the previous series between T1 and BLG, and then this one. With the prio of that pick, just the scaling it provided alongside the likes of Akarthus in Game 1. And teams, I don't think, know how to deal with her. The fact that she alleviates and forces lane swaps into such